And we're back for our daily NBA predictions here on Friday, March 28th. We've got 7 games today in the National Basketball Association. Before we get into the video, guys, I'm just going to take the L yesterday. I'm never going to disrespect the Chicago Bulls ever again. I'm going to put on the jersey for today's video. It's just, I need to stop talking myself out of not picking the Bulls. So, I'm going to put on the Bulls jersey for today. I need to buy a Josh Giddey jersey, guys. For as much as I've been hyping up Josh Giddey, like I have the Lonzo jersey. I need to get a Giddey jersey. I don't know how well it's going to go in public if people understand, but he's innocent. Anyways, yeah, we got 7 games today in the National Basketball Association. I just need the Lakers to just get to the playoffs healthy, and I really don't care what happens at this point. Anyways, 7 games in the NBA. We're going to predict every single one of them like we've been doing all year long. And folks, before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our college basketball best bets. Make sure you go check that out. Link in the description down below. And also, our MLB best bets continue today as well. Player props are with that video. We got player props, NRFI, money lines. We got it all for MLB best bets daily. So make sure to go check that out. 6 a.m. Pacific every single day here on the channel, along with our UFC predictions on Greedo Plays MMA, Moreno and Urseg in the main event this weekend from Mexico, so make sure to go check that out. Again, link in the description down below, and make sure to go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA. Okay, on to the first of our 7 games today. We start things off in Detroit, Michigan, Pistons, Cavs. If Cade Cunningham was playing, I'd probably take the Pistons. I actually would. The way the Cavs are playing right now, I would take Detroit, but no Cade, no victories. That's the way I'm seeing things right now. I get it, second out of a back-to-back for Cleveland. We'll see who plays tonight with their injuries and whatnot, but we can expect Evan Mobley to likely play this game. That was kind of the thought process I thought of yesterday. And hell, Ty Jerome should be back too. Both Mobley and Jerome didn't play yesterday, but they knew what the tougher game on their back-to-back was. It is very much Detroit. And they got to go on the road for this game. So expect Mobley and Jerome to play this one. The Cavs are, closing in on that number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, so they can soon get into that position that the Oklahoma City Thunder are in, where, the Thunder are still winning games. They beat the Grizzlies last night, but they could start to say, all right, and start to look ahead. Okay, we only need, we don't really need to win these games anymore. If we need to, get some guys rest, it doesn't really matter at this point, right? So Cleveland should be looking to lock up this 1 seed as soon as possible, and this is just another game where they can get even closer, right? Detroit, they've been winning back-to-back victories over the Pelicans and Spurs. I just don't feel confident about this team without Cade Cunningham in the lineup, because ultimately, this isn't something that we've seen all that much this season, because Cunningham plays all the damn time. Cunningham has missed some games this year, but primarily Cunningham's doing everything for this team, and it's not like you have Jaden Ivey in the lineup tonight without Cunningham, right? I mean, we're probably going to see Dennis Schroeder, I'd assume, playing the 1. I mean, yes, Malik Beasley's their best bench guy, but I don't think Beasley's going to start, so I'd assume Schroeder at the 1. And obviously, right, Schroeder, veteran, been there, done that, but he's no Cade Cunningham, and that's just going to really affect Detroit, because Cunningham's the leading scorer, right? I mean, you're missing out on the production of Cade, who averages 26, 6, and 9, which is a lot of points coming off the board here. And I don't think the Pistons are going to be able to make that up with Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, Schroeder, Ron Holland, Marcus Sasser, Sart Thompson. I just don't think they're able to make up that points. At the same time, we know how good the Cavaliers are, and we expect them to get Evan Mobley and Ty Jerome back as well. So with all that being said, I expect Cleveland to get this one done and cover the points at the same time. We're taking Cavaliers -6.5 here against the Detroit Pistons to kick off the night up at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Okay, on to our second game. Clippers Nets. Give me Clippers -12.5. Wouldn't play it personally. Yeah, I wouldn't, just because I hate these huge spreads. But this is one of the ones where I don't feel too badly in it. Again, I don't usually play anything above 10.5, really. Just I don't like relying on that. But I do think the Clippers easily cover this. I don't know about easily, but I think they do cover it. Just the way the Nets have been playing, my goodness, they've been bad. But the thing is, Brooklyn's weird. Because, right, they play the Pacers really closely in back-to-back games. They play the Celtics very closely the game before. They beat the Hawks, but then they go play Dallas. They get blown out on their own court. And I get it, right? The Mavs get Anthony Davis back, but show some damn self-respect, Brooklyn. You play the Pacers really closely. You play Boston really closely on the road. You return home, and you get blown out by the Mavs. But even worse, way worse, they lose by 40 points. Math. 30 points. 30 points at home, though, to the Raptors. I mean, what are we doing? I don't know. Really odd. They've got a bunch of injuries tonight. Noah Clowney probably should play, but Wadford questionable. Isaiah Williams questionable. We know Cam Thomas out for the season. It looks like Cameron Johnson is going to play. You got to think about motivation at the same time, guys. The Clippers are trying to stay out the play-in desperately right now. As if the play-in started today, they are out of it. They would be the 6th seed, taking on the Nuggets in the first round, and the Warriors would be in the play-in. So, right, Los Angeles just trying to stay out of that spot. They are desperate for wins at this point. They technically do control their own destiny out of the play-in right now. And they're fully healthy, right? We can expect Kawhi tonight. We can expect Norman Powell, Harden, and Zubac, obviously, mainstays of the lineup every single night. And the Clippers are coming off their victory 2 nights ago in New York, in the Garden, against the New York Knicks. James Harden is spectacular. We know that. Harden was questionable for that game, showed up, performed, and played really well. And that's what Harden's been doing all season long. The Clippers, though, they got to find ways to win games, to stay out the plan, and you got to look at their schedule ahead. Okay, you go to Cleveland Sunday, in Orlando Monday. Should probably beat the Magic. I think we're off the Magic now. I think they just went on their little insanity run beating the Lakers, but every team does that. Even though the Bulls are better than the Magic, they are. I'm gonna keep hyping up the Bulls, guys. But anyways, right, the Clippers got to find ways to win games. And this will be one of them, and I think they should be able to cover the 11.5 points too as well. Same thing. Against the Brooklyn Nets. The injuries of Brooklyn, don't love it, and they're a 23-50 team. So give me the Los Angeles Clippers here to cover and win. As we move on to our third game of the day, Tankathon game, the Charlotte Hornets take on the Toronto Raptors. Who wants it less? Give me Toronto here to win and cover. I guess this is why I think the Raptors are probably going to end up with a good pick and potentially Cooper Flag. Is because they kind of beat all these tanking teams all the time. The NBA is going to reward them. They are, right? We did our sim of the draft lottery yesterday, and, you know, it was not won by the Utah Jazz. They fell to 5th. But I feel like, right, the Raptors are going to get rewarded for actually trying to beat these teams. You look at their last 2 games, 2 tanking squads. They blow out the Wizards. They didn't blow them out. They still beat them by 8. They beat the Brooklyn Nets as well, right? They beat these tanking teams. They will beat another tanking team in the Hornets. They went on the road to DC and beat the Wizards. They went on the road to Barclays and beat the Brooklyn Nets. And now they get the Hornets at their place. Yes, the Raptors have a million injuries. Grady Dick is out, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, no Dick tonight for the Raptors. No Barrett, no Abaji, and no Chris Boucher is questionable. We'll see. But for the most part, the Raptors don't try to tank, I guess, even though I kind of been throwing that out there because of the Brandon Ingram situation, but maybe BI is just really hurt, and in all fairness, there's no reason to rush him back this year. IQ still playing, Scotty Barnes is playing, Jakob Portal, who does rest sometimes, is playing tonight as well. You're obviously gonna bring in Jacoby Walter in the starting lineup with the Dick injury, and Dick's been out for a while, and you know how much we like Jamal Shed on the channel here as well. So the Raptors are the all-around better basketball team. Additionally, Charlotte's got to go all the way up to Toronto and play the squad. And at the same time, no LaMelo Ball tonight. LaMelo Ball is injured. Yes, Miles Bridges, who's been this team's leading scorer in the second half of the season, is playing tonight, but Melo is out with an ankle injury, and that just takes a lot of points off the board as well for the Hornets. They're an 18-54 team this season. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 5 out their last 6, with the only victory being at home against the New York Knicks. But going into this game, right, 3 straight losses to the Oklahoma City Thunder, to the Miami Heat, and then in their last game, losing by 7 to the Orlando Magic at the Spectrum Center. I'm taking the Raptors here. They are looking like the way better team right now, and the Raptors, like I said earlier, they beat other tanking teams, and that's why they will get rewarded with Cooper Flag. I'm not joking. Give me the Toronto Raptors to win this one and cover the 6.5 points. Hey, LeBron James said it himself. The draft lottery is just rigged. It is. Anyways, Raptors minus 6.5 here at home against the Charlotte Hornets. We go on to our 4th best bet of the video, and we move to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as we've got the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the New York Knicks. I'm going to take Milwaukee at home plus 100. Yeah, even without Damian Lillard, I understand. Now, if Giannis doesn't play, we are screwed tonight. So, we're hoping Giannis plays. I don't think Giannis will miss. I don't think he's going to. He didn't play the Nuggets game in Denver. It was the second night of a back-to-back. They had lost, last game of the road trip. They had lost the night before, 2 nights before, to the Phoenix Suns. Giannis says, I'm not playing in Denver. Okay. They're returning home. It's their second to last homestand of the entire season. I think he is going to play it against the Knicks. The Bucks, I don't know if they really care, but they're in the 6th seed right now. I don't know. Pistons probably lose today. Bucks could win. They could get right back to 5. I don't know who the Bucks rather play, because right now this is their matchup in the first round to be against the Knicks. I don't know if they rather have this team or Indiana. The way the Pacers are playing in their 163 points yesterday against the Wizards, I'd likely rather play the Knicks. I'm just saying, I keep telling you guys the Pacers are going to make a run. But anyways, I think the Bucks still win this basketball game, though. as long as Giannis plays, which we are hoping he does. The Knicks obviously was still without Jalen Brunson. They still don't have their other point guards as well. I'm talking about Miles McBride. I'm talking about Cameron Payne. So this team's going to have to play guys like Landry Shamet, which is a whole other thing. But the Knicks still aren't incredibly deep. They've never been the deepest team, but with their injuries of their guards, it does, really hurt them. And I think the Bucks can get this one as long as Giannis plays. I think, we're going to see big scoring nights out of Giannis and likely Karl Anthony Towns as well, because Cat does the heavy lifting for this team now. OG Anunoby will have his nights, but Cat with the 34 in the Clippers game. I don't know, the Knicks just haven't looked good against really good teams recently, right? They'll beat the bad teams for the most part. I know they lost to the Hornets and the Spurs, but they beat the Wizards, they beat the Mavs, right? They beat the Heat. They're going to beat these bad teams. Against the other, somewhat decent squads, though, I think they lose. And as long as Giannis plays, I think the Bucks ultimately win this basketball game. Now, with no Giannis, they're screwed. Right? I'm not trusting a Brook Lopez, Kyle Kuzma team to win anything. But with Giannis in the lineup, he's a game changer. He's a top 5 player in the sport. Yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo by himself ultimately will find a way to win this game for the Bucks. And on top of that, they are at home as well. I don't treat the Bucks as a serious playoff threat, nor do I treat the New York Knicks as one either. I think both these teams, if they match up against each other in the first round, they will lose to whoever the 2 seed is, the Celtics, as long as the Celtics don't run into the Bulls in the first round. But it is what it is. I'm taking the Bucks to win this basketball game. Plus 100, I think, is great odds. Obviously, we expect this line to move when Giannis does get declared active. Now, if he doesn't get declared active and he's inactive for this game, then we're just screwed. But I think it's a risk I'm willing to take, right? He didn't play the last Nuggets game. I don't think he's all that seriously hurt. I'm going to take Giannis and the Bucks to come out on top here against the Knicks. I think it's a very favorable matchup here for Milwaukee at home. So give me the Bucks. Next up, we move on to Minnesota, to Minneapolis, and to the Target Center as we have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Phoenix Suns. I'm taking Minnesota minus 6.5, right? That Suns winning streak was great. They took on the Celtics and they lost, right? I'm not going to say it's a Mickey Mouse winning streak at all for the Suns. They beat some good teams, plus the Raptors, right? They beat the Bulls, who we know are great. They beat the Cavs, who I know they were injured going into that game, but still Phoenix won, and they got past the Bucks. Brook Lopez couldn't hit a free throw, and, it is what it is. But still, good victories for Phoenix. Now they got to go on the road. And we always talk about this race that, that these 3 play-in teams in the West have to go through. Only 2 spots available for 3 teams right now as it stands because the Mavs and Kings wins yesterday. The Phoenix Suns are the first team on the out. Now, if they win this game, they'll be back tied with the Dallas Mavericks at 36 and 38, but I don't think they get it. And this is where, I'm concerned about all these teams. Look at Phoenix's schedule, man. It is difficult. Minnesota, Houston, Milwaukee, Boston, Knicks, Warriors, Thunder, Spurs, Kings. There's a chance maybe that Suns Kings game is for the play-in spot. Now, I think Sacramento is going to start losing a bunch of games, but I don't know. The Kings play the Magic tomorrow, and I don't really feel as bad about the Kings now after I watched that Blazers game last night. And I watched the Magic play last night as well. So, who knows? We'll get to that tomorrow. In this spot, though, I'm taking the Timberwolves. Guys, the Timberwolves own the Suns. There's no other way to put it. This is... I don't want to put it in Jokic and Lakers perspective or LeBronto perspective, but I'm serious. When are we going to start saying Ant just owns the Suns? He does. He's 3-0 against him this year. He swept him in the playoffs last year. I'm serious. Ant owns Phoenix right now, and he's going to continue to own this team, I believe. And now I get it. Minnesota on paper are not as good as they were last year. But they've beat him 3 times this year, and Anthony Edwards had that huge game last time they played. I think it was in Phoenix last time they played, if I'm not mistaken. Was it in Phoenix? Yeah, it was in Phoenix where Ant had 44 points. He just always performs against this Suns team. He's going to talk crap to KD in his face. Obviously, they were USA teammates last summer. But Edwards just plays better against Phoenix. I know they're coming off a loss to the Pacers or the Timberwolves, but it's just how good the Pacers are. Now, Minnesota has not had to play since Monday. That was their last game in Indiana. They're back for 2 home games tonight against the Suns and then Sunday against the Detroit Pistons. So this team's had a while since that last loss to Indiana. They have lost 3 of their last 4, right, with the 2 losses to the Pacers, the 1 loss to the Pelicans, and the 1 win against the Pelicans. But they've had time since that game. And again, Minnesota just plays a lot better, and Ant just plays really well against the Suns. Phoenix, I believe, still without Bradley Beal. Yes, Beal is dealing with that hamstring injury. Does that really affect them too much? Let's just be honest, no. Because this team, and you know it, I know it, the American people know it, is just Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Okay? Both these guys are posting 30-plus point scoring nights every single night, for the most part, it feels like. And the Suns are still in trouble because they don't play defense. Yes, they had won 4 in a row before the Boston game, but they still don't play defense, and that's not going to help them in a game here against the Minnesota Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. The Timberwolves beat the Suns last time around, and Naz Reid went 0 for 11 from the field. Made us all think he was a Prize Picks employee, okay? Give me the Timberwolves in this spot. They should be able to win and cover here at home in Minneapolis. Timberwolves minus 6.5 against the Phoenix Suns. We go on to our next game. New Orleans, Louisiana for the Golden State Warriors and the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm going to say this right now. Don't bet this basketball game, and probably don't bet the last 2 games tonight. No. The next game, there's a slight exception to my rule of never betting anything in the double digits in terms of a spread. You probably know why, but we'll talk about the Tankathon Jazz in a second. First, Warriors Pelicans. Give me the Pels plus 13.5. Might be a little bit of a, an out there pick because no Zion, because no CJ McCollum, and obviously we know about the, injury that takes Trey Murphy out for the rest of the season and beyond. I get that. The Warriors are still without Steph. I don't think Curry's playing tonight. We found out that Gary Payton II's out for the foreseeable future with the torn ligament in his left thumb. I don't think Steph's playing. I don't think he's going to, right? So the latest update on Curry is Curry with the pelvis injury has been listed questionable for Friday's game against the Pelicans after going through a 6-minute team scrimmage Thursday. Okay. I think the Warriors know they're probably not going to lose without Steph. I think Jimmy and the defensive player of the year, Draymond Green, and Jonathan Kuminga and company will find a way to win without Steph Curry. They really don't need him for this game. They really don't need him in San Antonio on Sunday. They just need him to be healthy for the final stretch of the year, do the Warriors, for Tuesday in Memphis, Thursday against the Lakers, Nuggets the day after, Rockets, Suns, and then Spurs, Blazers, Clippers to end the season. Because like we talked about with the Clippers earlier, the Warriors don't want to find themselves in the play-in, right? We kind of know, for as bad as the Lakers and the Grizzlies have been playing recently, I don't think they fall out the top 5. I think the top 5 is still likely in order. I think the way it's looking, it's going to be Thunder, Rockets, Nuggets, Lakers, Grizzlies, I think that's how it's going to go. And then I think, it's just a scramble for that 6th seed. Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, and then the next level is obviously Kings, Mavericks, Suns. So we know the Warriors need to start winning games. That's why I don't think they're going to play Curry tonight, because they know they can win without him. They want him to rest as much as possible. No reason to rush Steph back into a game against the Pelicans, who are showing you their cards. They're not playing CJ. They're not playing Zion. But at the same time, I do think the Pelicans are able to stay within 13.5 points if Curry doesn't play. Guys, we've seen this team without Steph Curry. They're not that great. Without Steph Curry, they lose to the Hawks by 9 points on the road. Tough game, sure. But they lose in Miami 112-86, right? Sure, they'll beat the Pels, but the Pels can shock you sometimes. I get it. No Zion tonight, no CJ. But I think with no Curry, I'm going to take the Pels plus 13.5, okay? I don't mind it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I like the 17.5 point spread better, though, with the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. Denver by 35 points. I'm not joking. They are going to win this game by 35 points. They are. Guys, Utah played their game yesterday. I guarantee you, the Utah front office, Danny Ainge and company, went down into that locker room after they almost beat the Rockets. They came within 11 points. They went into that locker room and said, God damn it, we're playing too close to basketball. Can't lose by only 11 points. So you know what they did? They said, Jordan Clarkson, go get surgery. You're done. They already ruled Jordan Clarkson out for the year. Lauri Markkanen, probably still out. They haven't officially announced their injury report yet. I can assume probably no Colin Sexton. They'll keep letting Kessler play because they think they're going to try to make Walker Kessler Nikola Jokic. Great. The Nuggets are healthy, and they're fine for the most part. All their guys are probable tonight, so we can assume Jokic is probable, Gordon, MPJ, Braun, they're all probable tonight. The only guy who's questionable is Jamal Murray. I think Murray will play, but even without Murray, I kind of still like the Nuggets. Just throw Russ in there. Okay. The Nuggets will blow out the Jazz. Guys, the Jazz aren't good at basketball. They're not, and they are actively trying to lose. Too close for comfort was their last game against the Rockets. The Nuggets have covered this line against Utah twice this season. First matchup, they won it by 26. Second matchup, they won it by 19. Third matchup, it was in Utah, and they only won by 11 points, only. They'll be okay in this spot. The Jazz aren't playing in nearly the amount of guys they were playing in that third matchup where they only lost by 11 points to the Nuggets. Denver scores 130 points in this team every single time they play them. So you now have to ask yourself the question, do you think the Utah Jazz can score 113 points? The answer to that question, I think, is no, especially with the way they're taking shots. They're making Walker Kessler shoot threes. They're not trying to win. I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets to go out here and get this one. Denver minus 17.5. Honestly, it doesn't feel that bad. This should be a complete blowout, and Denver should steamroll this team. It's crazy. Minus 2,500 for a money line for an NBA game. These are professional basketball teams. What are we doing? Denver wins and they cover. Utah is still getting VJ Edgecombe in the draft. Don't you worry. So, folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA predictions here on Friday, March 28th. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.